Ooh.
That's my cats fighting.
What are they fighting
You can
about?
hear that. It looks like the position in the chair, the favorite chair. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, still fighting. Can you hear that?
No.
Sure can't.
Okay, good. Good. Sounds like
Got a
Chris's
cat lady
mom's
filter.
house. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. My mom's got, I don't
know.
know. I think she's only got one cat right now.
This either looks like I have a huge rack or I'm a big fat person. I'm gonna go for the huge rack.
What is it you want to hear right now?
I have neither. It's neither. It's just like a weird shirt. I just feel weird, but it's because I'm on the couch. It's okay though. All right.
I think I have that shirt.
I'm ready when you guys are. You do?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much ready to go.
We could have been
All right.
matching, Chris.
Yeah, I have it.
You got to get yourself a.
It's not that comfortable. I don't know.
Manchester United
That's
shirt.
what's happening right now. It feels weird.
A little rough.
Which Corolla talks a lot of shit about. Like you should have your stuff nice for people to wear, but whatever.
It's all right.
All right.
This is a hang.
Maybe Corolla
that
realized
outside.
like you got to have like really sharp people on your team. If you want all
That's
those
what he's
I's
doing.
to be dotted and T's to be crossed.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 135 of your Endless Ranters podcast. Thanks for listening, watching, and subscribing. We truly appreciate the support. My name is Chris, and I am one of your hosts for this evening. Robbie Spotlight, the new dad, kind of newish dad. He's still on paternity leave, so he's not here tonight. He's got in-laws in. So, but the crew for tonight is myself. I'm joined by the heartless, the hairless one. It's America's favorite soggy mom. It's Quana. What's happening? How you doing?
Fuckers.
Well, you know, a lot's up this week. There's anger in the air. Anger everywhere.
My eyes
And then
are
there's
puffy, crying.
yeah. There's producer Manny. What's going down, old man?
Welcome to the pod of tomorrow.
Yeah, welcome to your new favorite podcast
What's up, everybody?
that has
Yeah.
3 people on
A
it.
news girl.
Yeah. Yeah. We're rebranding it, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, our
Manny's now sound effects guy.
interpretation of News Girl.
You better
News
get
girl.
a drop machine quick.
Juana's gonna try to, like talk about a news story here and there.
It's all conspiracies, but you know what? You will be enlightened.
Conspiracytimes.com.
Mhm.
Yeah, so crazy week. And so we're just coming off a pretty long happy hour. We had this
It
evening.
was a
So
really
yeah,
good time.
we did
Thanks,
some regulars, some
everybody,
new
for coming.
faces, some
Shout out
some
to
new
Brian,
Corolla
new
stories.
participant.
Mhm.
Brian.
Zorback was there. We really appreciated him
Lurking
seeing
around, whoever
just seeing the
you are.
word Zorback on the screen. That's over a black
and
background.
He gave us a new he gave us a little message when he left, like thanks.
Yeah, he
Really
did say.
nice person.
One of our
You-
more,
Yeah.
cryptic
We're right
guests.
now. We're in the
Appreciate
state
it.
where that's all it takes. You say something nice and you're a
We are
favorite fan.
in.
Your favorite fan already.
So let that be a life lesson, everybody. Be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich was there. Yeah. Rich Skeldon. Whoops. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows who he is.
Yes.
The scoundrel. He was there. Other regulars. Now I feel like I shouldn't say names, but it was nice. It was nice.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
A couple of them are really, really pretty. Just saying.
Stop, please. Yeah. Don't embarrass
Shouldn't have
me.
to.
Don't embarrass
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
So yeah, we had a special happy hour, went a little long, so we're starting late tonight, but yeah, really going to have a short show and really centering around the big changes at the Adam Carolla podcast, the Adam Carolla Show podcast this week with Adam's dismissal of sound effects guy Bob Bryan and news girl Gina Grad. Fan favorites for sure. A lot of people, I think well, I don't want to say too much, but that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. What do you guys think? What do you think, or what do you think the general mood is? Because we're in the Ace Holes group, and that's about 11,000 something fans, and who knows who actually participates, but the mood there seems to be not really appreciative of the show, but obviously everybody loves Adam, and it's going to keep listening.
Kind of feels like everybody wanted like a goodbye episode, which I feel like would have been chaotic, like too much for Adam for sure, right? Like, could he deal with crying Gina Grad, or
Yeah,
I'm
there's
so
a lot
grateful
of
for this
reasons.
time, or whatever, It just
You
doesn't
know,
seem like he's that person.
I could come up with a lot of reasons not to have a goodbye farewell week.
Yeah.
Because then that but it is a shame. Yeah, you kind of wish that, but I don't know.
A couple people pointed out though that radio is like that. Like they just change the key code to get into the building. Like when you're done, you're done. So
Yeah,
maybe they both appreciate that. Not Brian though. I feel like Brian got into it when he was a kid, and he's just been always kind of, married good and has been Adam's sidekick his whole life, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think he knows that. I think he really appreciates that, like sometimes, but the flip side, he's got terminal cancer.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think he goes to bed every night thinking like, I'm the luckiest son of a bitch in the world. It's like kind of got a sweet deal on one thing, but put in the
I
time.
kind of wonder if Adam maybe and him didn't have like some sort of understanding, that maybe, he's had some health issues recently. Like maybe just time is more important to him after that flu near-death experience. It happened just a couple weeks ago. I mean, he was literally in the hospital almost dying.
Yeah, I think I really give Bald and Gina a lot of credit. Like these are not delusional people.
Yeah.
Like they're fine. They realize like, things happen and it's always a possibility. And that, I think may have been hard, but the sentiments that they expressed were of just like, this is tough, but so grateful, so I think it's probably true.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I've got some notes, and that was one of them was like, the farewell episode, if you're going to have a farewell week with like these people, like that requires like that kind of requires a pretty high level of trust.
I don't think it would have been a week. I think it was just been one day.
Or day. Okay. But you can't just be like, hey, tomorrow's your last show. Like, let's make it we're going to have a really special farewell show tomorrow. Like you have to give them a little bit of time, like maybe line up some guests or like,
yeah,
because if you're bald, you'd be like
how it should have went.
Yeah.
What if like there was no prep talk and he just sprung it on them as the episode was unfolding? He's like, by the way, this will be your last.
Yeah, he'd be like, Brian, I want you to come up with your 10 most favorite drops because today's the last day you're going to play them. Like that would have been bad show. That would have been bad show. So there's so many reasons not to have a farewell, but yeah, but I also understand, like as a fan, you're just like, why wouldn't I don't know. But then like,
I love the way he accentuated that it wasn't an email, that he sat down and talked to him
in person. He said in person.
Yeah.
It was weird. But we can get into like Adam and like that episode, but I think that episode's another story. It's more like where I think tonight we'll focus on more like our reaction, we feel about it, what we see other people feeling about it, and get into some, we'll talk about a lot of stuff that we have no idea what we're talking about. That's our specialty.
That's my specialty.
Mm-hmm. I don't even have unnamed sources.
I don't have even any thoughts about it.
My sources aren't even unnamed. They don't even exist. They're just floating around in my head.
Same.
But I have some notes because I had a lot of thoughts over the week, and I had some notes.
All right, let's go through these notes.
Yeah.
Well, about the farewell tour, like I thought like that kind of requires a lot of trust, like to tell someone that, and then they're going to show up, or they're going to put 100% in, or they're not going to say something or torpedo something, or it takes a lot of trust to like tell someone that kind of bad news, and then to like expect them to act appropriately, or how you think would be appropriate to that for a week or a few days or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it wasn't there. Like I was mentioning in the happy hour, like maybe, you know, some of those things, like when Adam was kind of under the fire there for the COVID times, you know, like his tweets and all that kind of stuff. It was like, you know, for a short period, like in the top 10 of most hated people in America or on Twitter.
He was up there.
Yeah. And like, you know, he didn't have any co-hosts like telling people to fuck off for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you guys could be wrong about something, but if someone's coming at you hot, like, yeah, they're going to get told to fuck off. Like, I don't care if you're wrong or not.
Thank you. That's I live
You know,
that way
like,
too.
like there's going to be like, I'm going to have to hate you out of a matter. You could be right about my friend, but I'm going to hate you as a matter of duty.
Same.
Like,
Same.
that's why I don't have a lot of friends, you know.
Oh my goodness.
That kind of level of commitment is hard.
Yeah, they
you know,
have a
like
lot
there
of
wasn't
silent
that.
days. They had
There wasn't
silent
that.
days in studio where, well, not in studio, they were on Zoom, but they would just be, I remember like the awkward silence things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he listened back to over the break, Corolla Classics played like the best ofs and the end of the year ones that I can't think of the name of right now.
I mean, to
The
be
Ace
fair
Awards.
to be fair to them, like Adam Carolla is not on Adam Carolla on the Adam Carolla Show podcast is not an easy person to talk to about nuanced views and like, what do you think about that? Or, hey, I was thinking about, you know,
True.
the other side of this issue is this or that. And it's like, I mean, I don't disagree with him ever, but his tactics are sometimes bombastic and not really conducive to like any kind of like meaningful discussion.
Yeah.
He's kind of like in an argument debate. He's kind of a shutter downer. Like he's trying to like win,
Yeah.
you know, like early and easy.
Yeah. And
So
if
it
he
doesn't leave a lot of
gets louder.
room. Doesn't
Yeah.
leave a lot of room. And it's like, I'm not faulting him. It's like, you know, I think that's kind of true. But you know, that a lot of times when Adam would say, like, what do you mean? Like it would seem like they really hadn't had a lot of like, they had a feeling, an initial feeling about an issue, but then not a lot of like thoughts about it after that, or not the ability to like communicate their differences in like I don't know, in a tough environment with the Ace Man, you know, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. But yeah, I had some notes. I think I just told them all now.
That's it?
So
You only gave one.
I know.
like, so I had some thoughts about like the departures different for each of them. Like Gina was like a tough departure, but she was like a news girl, like an employee, and there'd been changes in that position before.
Yeah.
So like not as tough, but tough because she, like, I think during the Ace Awards 2022, she kind of like expressed her love for the show and everybody involved in it and the family.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think in the Tuesday episode, I think Adam's quote regarding his feelings for Gene and Bald was quote, "I like them," unquote. Like those were his exact words.
Yeah.
He's like, "They're friends. I like them." Like, and I was expecting to be like, "Bald Brian, you've been with me," but no, that was it. That was kind of the limit of like his any emotional expression.
Can you imagine what it was like in person for everyone in that room? And the lackeys like Chris and Dawson and, you know, Gary just kind of like,
Where you think they were all
hi.
there?
Like, well, I mean, they're in the building, right? They're at work. They're there to produce a show. I think everybody showed up to produce the show, right?
I
Do you
think
think
as much
Dawson
as
and
like,
Chris knew beforehand? They were like, hey, we're gonna have Gina and Bald come in to fire them. You know, I think everybody just showed up for work and he decided to do this thing.
I think they probably, I think
It's probably settled before.
I think they probably knew. I think a couple of people probably knew, and but that's not bad. It's like,
Yeah.
as shitty as it is, like that's just how it has to happen. And they've all been through, well, like Gina's been through it before, where it's like the
Yeah,
rug gets
on the
pulled out from
show.
under you.
Yeah, a couple times, right? She got fired from a couple different
Oh yeah, yeah.
radio jobs.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Yeah,
like for
she's been
her,
through
it's
a
more of like
lot.
a professional thing, surprising. But then like the Bald Brian thing, I guess in my mind, I had thought like maybe Bald was like a little brother to Adam,
Mm,
and that'd be a little bit different. But then I
yeah.
started, that thought popped in my head, like when Adam was being told he was a monster on Twitter during the COVID stuff, like, like his little brother wasn't, like swinging in to like tell people to fuck off
Yeah.
or
They
defend him
didn't do it on the show either.
or like,
The
you know what I
Donald,
mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. No, no,
to,
no. I
to like
do.
you find a way when your friend is wrong, you find a way to defend them, even if,
Yeah. Listen.
look deep down in Quanah's heart, she's a good person.
Yeah. I did not do
She may act
anything
like a
to
C
you
word
know
sometimes,
who.
but
Both of
deep down,
them. Either one of them. I did not do anything.
yeah.
Just saying.
Even though
Those
she
who will
acts
not
that
be
way
named.
a lot, that's not really who she is deep down. Oh, I'm just kidding. But
No, I
yeah,
know what you're
so
saying.
like there was really not a lot of effort to like, take some fire and like jump in the foxhole with the dude.
Yeah.
So that probably, yeah, no one. So yeah, like I had to kind of examine like what I kind of maybe thought or like subconsciously thought about what was relationships and like kind of like, oh, maybe not.
Right.
Maybe not. So that, yeah, that
Yeah.
thought like they're
No, but
two
I think
different
like they
losses.
discussed on today's show, they discussed about how like people had to the comedian that was on asked how his relationship with Jimmy Kimmel was, and he said it's perfect. We're fine. We're friends. Like that's just it. Which, which is why Brian and Gina maybe should have stood up for them if you are friends and you just kind of,
I
you know,
I feel sorry for celebrity in some way because even if Adam didn't feel that way, he can't not say that.
yeah.
Like
But he was
if someone says,
defending
"How do you feel about
Jimmy
Jimmy Kimmel?"
basically.
Like,
No, he was defending Jimmy basically because the comedian said, Jimmy must hate your viewpoints. And he's like, no, we don't discuss like we're friends. Like it's not a thing.
I
He
get it.
loves
Like,
me.
yeah,
That's what he said. He loves me.
yeah,
Specifically, he loves me.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, I think you
Maybe
gotta
he's
like
not
those
self-aware enough
are.
to know that people are like, you know.
I don't think those are like. It's hard to define those situations, so I don't want to say too much about it. But like, I got my feelings about. Like, I don't think Jimmy Kimmel feels too highly about Adam's fans and listeners and all that. And
No, I'm just saying
yeah,
what Adam actually
that's what
said
Adam
on
said.
his
Yeah,
show. Yeah, that
yeah.
Jimmy loves him, which I'm sure he does. If you're a friend of someone, you know,
Kind of
like you
jumping
guys.
around. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got what you're saying. Jumping around a little bit, like I was thinking of another thing with like there's an era. I think we'll look back a few years ago and look at an era where the era before Adam got into stand-up comedy and after. Right. Because before that, he's making fun of all these people, like, kind of in general, he's like making fun of them. But like now, like you realize like for the last 3 years, maybe more, like he's seeing all the people that he's usually making fun of like all the time at these clubs and like making his
Yeah.
rounds. And like there's a difference. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I kind of enjoyed that part of his journey, whatever, like getting into stand-up comedy and like talking about that, the process, whatever.
Right.
But it's got to change his perspective a little bit too, right? Where he's like hanging out with Bald and Gina all day and like that's it. Now he's hanging out with like Hannibal Buress, like
Yeah.
like all these like huge stand-up stars that like in the stand-up world, these are like huge guys. And like that'll change, I think, change your perspective on things a little bit, or
It'll definitely make for a more interesting, different show, probably. It'll be less of the same, be different every day.
I'm
Today, he seemed to be more on his feet. The comedian seemed like he wasn't giving Adam a lot of breathing
yeah.
room.
Well, I thought like I've always thought that when Adam has comedians on, especially comedians, if you were allowed to say that, that's a female comedian. It's
Oh,
like he'd be on his game. Like he was always the sharpest with comedians attractive comedians. Like he was always be
Right.
at his sharpest, like his funniest, like
Right.
really firing. So I wondered, like in this new era, like now we're going to see him just going through a lot more of the stand-up world, like a lot more stand-up comics. And
It'll be fun. I think it's going to be fun.
yeah, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's like, but it's like he's going to be in this celebrity world more, where I don't know, he may not have as strong as opinions, or they may not come out as often, or I don't know. I get a lot of thoughts. Like there's also a different dynamic of like, this is not Adam when he's 35 and like a brash newcomer. Like Adam is like hanging out with those guys that are his age, like pushing 60,
Yeah.
like that are like happy to get a role on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And like
Yeah.
guys that were doing stand up, like when, like in the 80s when Jay Leno was doing stand up, they're all old and like they don't really, like they're all like 60. They don't really have the energy to hate Adam anymore. You know what I mean? And they're all past their prime, and they're all like like a lot of these actors and celebrities that he's talking to. And I sorry, I'm just thinking out loud, but like he's
Yeah, I
getting a
don't
lot
think
more.
I'd ever heard of the guy that was on today. Like, I don't think I
I
ever
heard
heard
the
of him.
name.
Same here. Never heard of the guy.
I
think he's
did
been,
think it was Elliot Gould this morning through
but I
my.
think the story is like he's been kicking around for a long time.
Yeah, it sounded like
This guy
it.
probably thought Adam was a total douchebag, like hack when he was on Loveline with Dr.
And that's
Drew.
why
But
he said, like, how are you even friends with Jimmy anymore? Like, it seemed like more of a question than, well, the way you worded it was like, wasn't a very nice question.
yeah, I didn't really like the guest today.
Yeah, I didn't either.
He was kind of annoying.
Yeah,
Plus, it's
he
all where
was.
I'm also like listening to each show now with the through the prism of this, like the big change that just happened.
Yeah.
Quick
Mhm.
answer to some questions in the chat for Mindy and Monk. I'm having some tech issues, so the fourth channel is responsible for my audio, while my muted, the third channel is responsible for my video. It's a really convoluted setup, but here we are. Anyway, back to the
Love
show.
it. I mean, it could be a picture of something like the fireplace. We could do a little fireplace there. Just
If I could
roast our toes on it.
Yeah, we'll save that for another time.
Yes.
So the losses are different, like Bald leaving and Gina, like they happened at the same time. They got grouped together, but they're really different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you had like if you lost like two loved ones, like you wouldn't just group them together. Like you'd be like, I had different relationships with these two people.
I had to say one thing that I miss from the show before Ball ever left was the lack of drops over the frequency of drops. I should say the lack of frequency, because it was a lot more, they were a lot more prominent at a certain point in the show's history. And it just kind of slowly started curbing over time.
Yeah, one other thing I wrote down was that like I never
but they were still well timed when he would go chime in.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's like if there was like a lifetime achievement award for like drop timing, he'd win it.
I hear them in my brain. Like when the show's going on, like I hear drops in my brain because he's brilliant and he's been brilliant over the years. Sorry, Jaden.
That's how.
But he is. It's like in my brain. Like some of the stuff is just like they're just there. They will always be there.
Accustomed, to the drops and like the timing with them is just like that. I started to be like, oh, this drop would be great here.
I'm grateful for that too. I'm grateful that I have that with just a few people in the world. No one else will get that, but that part,
Yeah.
Let's drink some beers and rape.
Yeah, that was a big, like I wrote down that or I typed in that like I always like I could say this, like I literally never tuned in to the Adam Carolla Show podcast to hear what Bald or Brian had to think about a topic. Right. 100%. It was always, I want to know what Adam thought about
Bald or Gina.
What happened at this airport story. but no, like, like I wanted to know what Adam thought in the context of this group,
Yeah.
of this group dynamic of these three people.
Yeah.
Like, and that sounded off as like a dig towards them, but like, no, it wasn't. But I wanted to hear what I wanted to hear Adam tell Bald and Gina what he thought about this current event or news story, and like hear what they had to say, or like what question they had for him, or what they laughed about it, or whatever. And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know. So it's a weird thing where like, yeah, I didn't really, because Jaden would say that too. Like, I don't like, we tune in for Adam.
Yeah.
Like everybody does.
1,000,000%.
But
That,
like,
I told you guys
but there's
today that I
something, there's a
quit
group
kind of,
dynamics. That's the group dynamic thing. It's
but that
missing.
it can change at any time. I'm surprised about the Ball Brian thing because I mean, obviously the sound machine and when Brian was sick, like what even is that? Like, was the sound machine built by him? Like, is
No, it
that
was
a thing? Like,
purchased.
I don't even know what it is,
It could be
right?
purchased.
Yeah.
But like, does it stay at the studio? Is
It's
it
not there anymore. I didn't see it when
It
at one
used
of the
to.
artist shots.
It used to, because when we were there, it was sitting. I
it
think
was
it was like
sitting on the
it
counter.
was sitting
If
there, or like, yeah.
anything, it was Brad Williams that doomed
Yeah.
Brian, if you ask me.
If we could ever get Bald Brian on this podcast, it would be 90 minutes of like, tell me exactly how the drops work. We don't want to care. We don't care about your kids, your health. Tell me about this machine. Tell me about an episode. Like, let's reenact an episode where you do a drop.
It's like the court reporter.
bushing?
Like, you don't know how the words
Yeah,
work.
like,
They got like 9 keys that they hit.
that's all I want to know about.
It's the
Yeah,
same
that's
as
all
the
I
drop
want to know.
machine. It's like, what? How do you get the words on there? Yeah.
Yep. No, yeah, I want to
Very
know. Like, that's what I would want all my questions be about. Like, no, seriously though. Like, what buttons do you push? How long does it
Yeah.
take? Like, how do you have them saved? Do you have some kind of like? I always thought that he had some kind of voice detection, and whenever like Sonny would come up, it would show him like, Sonny drops or something.
Right.
Because there were some where it would be like just an off the wall topic that all of a sudden Ace would veer into, and they either added the drop in post, or Bald had an insanely quick mind and could search things really quick in his hard drive.
You know what?
Yeah.
Over the break, they played the Rotten Tomatoes game where Brian cheated.
You
Right?
think he actually cheated?
Why you got to bring that up? That was bad.
No, I'm sorry.
That was bad. That was bad.
I'm just saying, like, you could add a drop like that's it, if that's how they got the drops in there, which they're so funny. It makes more sense that they would drop in the drops after the fact. Like,
well,
things
it kind
that would
of
be funny.
since
Right?
they've passed, it's kind of not worth talking about now since they've passed away. R.I.P. No, but I had this. I thought that there was a recent episode. There was a recent episode they were replaying where Brian asked Dawson, like, could we put this, like, I thought he'd said something about like, can we put this in later? Like,
Yeah.
I thought he made a reference to the fact that there may be times where they actually put drops in after the show's done.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And we wouldn't know because, some people watch the YouTube, the Corolla YouTube live, but I gotta say, like, 99% of Adam's content has been, listened to recorded over the years.
Yeah.
Not live, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
All
Do
right,
they
so
even play it live? Okay, sorry.
now you guys chime in, whatever, like, tell me if I'm wrong or whatever, but like,
You're wrong.
I had this thought too, like, that over the years, if you really think about it, that Adam has been incredibly generous, like, with his time, talent, like, in different ways. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that was like, I was just saying, 99% of the Adam Carolla that I've listened to, I haven't paid for. Not a penny.
Oh, right.
You fucking
1,000,000%.
thief. The hell are you doing here? I'm gonna call the
No.
cops on you.
Well, everybody else has a Patreon. He doesn't. Like, it's all free,
No, but it's like, that's kind of, like, that was a business decision for him not to go behind a paywall, but it's like,
Right.
if you're honest like that, it's all free. It's like, I paid for a few shows I've been to, but like, I gotta say, like, I've been listening for Adam Carolla for like 10, 12 years, whatever it is now. And, yeah, I don't know. I've given him maybe a few $100, I don't know, in tickets or whatever. I've spent some money on, I've probably given American Airlines more
Right.
than him to see him.
Yeah.
So like, you got to think about that. And then you got to think like, but in other ways, like he's also been very generous with like, he brought people along. He really didn't have to.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, when you think about Joe Coy, when he first started, he was just the
yeah. And it's
hot
all, I
dog
mean,
eater guy.
he was looking for content, but it's like, he had choices. So yeah. So like I wrote like his content, but his motor, like that's his term. His motor carried a lot of people a long way. And it didn't have to, like, didn't have to, like, I think he probably would have been okay for a long time without Ball Brian. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Adam Carolla could probably be living the same lifestyle he's living now. If he had, let's say he'd canned Ball Brian like 7 years ago, like, I think he'd still
For
be
sure.
like, he'd be on his feet still. Like, he'd be all right.
Yeah.
Same with Gina. So like, that's what I mean by that. Like a lot of free content for listeners, fans that you've never paid for ever. Yeah, you listen to, maybe you have Geico. If you have Geico, you paid for it, but
Hey, I have a man great.
yeah, there you go. That's it.
I
It's been very
regret not
generous.
buying
So,
a Angry.
And
I
Tommy
think
Johns. We have a lot of Tommy Johns in this house.
the flip side of that is like then like people take him for granted big time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and when people take someone for granted, then they start having these thoughts like, well, that person should have done this,
Right.
that person should have told them earlier, that person that's given me so much for free and like carried so many people, he really should have done it differently, like, I don't know. I don't think I want to have, I felt those feelings, and it's like, I don't think I want to have those feelings about this guy. I like a world where Adam Carolla is rich.
Literally a millionaire.
I like that world. I like it. I like a world where this guy that, like, man, he's got such great insight, makes me laugh so many times, and like, just like, I like a world where he's rich and successful.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so Corolla to do it this way. Like, it's
Mhm.
can you imagine like the tears?
That's why he
and
didn't
the
announce his
fodder
mom.
that she would have been like, she would have been so upset. Rightfully so.
That's why he didn't talk about his mom dying. Because then when he fires who you think are his best friends, you're just like, man, this guy's broken. This guy's broken inside. It's his mom's fault.
Did you check out the thread in the group where people were commenting on the way he decided to break the news to Sonny about his grandma passing?
Yeah, like not
That
telling
was
your kids grandma's dead is not normal.
This is not normal in the 3D.
That was a very
that
interesting
was
thread
hilarious.
to go through. Yeah.
Can I tell you something
every
though?
other picture
Honestly,
is with his mom. Every other profile picture has his mom in it. Like,
honestly,
you don't need to talk about what's normal.
You wrote like you should check out you should peep on the OP's profile, and my thought was like, I will not. I do not want to know any. I don't want to know anything about the OP.
He had every single picture had either his mom or his dad in it. Like, don't talk about what's normal when you're literally with your mom and your dad all the time. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy's broken inside. Oh man.
What if that was Brian?
I'll be honest though, I got it's like, like I have a very weird, like, when I'm listening to Adam tell that story and like his thought process, and it's very real. Like I have a stepmother that's still alive, and we're estranged, I guess you would say that. My father passed, my dad passed away several years back, and like he and our relationship was kind of rocky, and then my stepmother and our relationship was rocky because of that. Like if my dad and I aren't getting along, it like I'm not going to have a great relationship with my stepmother. But like, since it's passing, we don't really keep in touch, because there's just not because of anything necessarily negative. I mean, there's some negative, but like, just because there's just not a lot there. It doesn't feel good, but it's like, because on paper, it seems like really wrong. But
Right.
like, if I got the call, like that she passed away, like my kids don't know her. They know of her, like, yeah, but they don't really know her. So it's like, I don't like, I would
Why
tell,
are you
I mean,
gonna bum out your own kids?
I
Why do you
would,
want to bum them out for no
I
reason?
would tell them, but I can understand where it's like, well, we're on the way to a playoff game. So it's not
Yeah.
really
There's
the
an obligation to
time.
feel sad when someone dies. And if there's not, I don't know. I
It's not really
am
the time, but if you're a public figure and your children are on the internet, yeah, you may want to have at least a quick conversation like, hey, this happened, but I'm not sure how to talk to you about it. So,
yeah.
and I'm aware of the internet and your ability to get on the internet. So I want to say something.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so I kind of get it. Like I really get it. Yeah, I kind of feel like that's and you're just like, yeah, Adam's a guy, like he's all about momentum. And it's like, you just start the day, you're trying to get going, trying to build up speed. And like having that conversation is not a build up speed, momentum building kind of thing. It's like yeah. Now, and then you gotta like act like everybody gotta act like they're bummed for like, I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't think that he was actually bummed because you're not. If you don't have a relationship with your parent, when that parent is gone, you're like, yeah. I'm speaking from experience. You're just like, okay.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's as cut and dry.
Yeah,
Of
it's
like
just
grandparents that were there at every Christmas and every holiday, all of a sudden
it's
don't
not
show
the
up and you don't say
same.
anything. Like that's a
Yeah,
little different.
right.
That's and when your kid's like, "Where's Grandpa?" And you're just like, "Who? What are you talking about? Why are you making up these words, son?"
Who's that?
You
What?
start like deleting, like you start like cutting people out of pictures because you don't want to you want to avoid the subject. That's not normal. But like,
No.
I guess what's not normal, like my situation is this: my stepmother's like, like 1,000 miles away, but like they live close by, so I guess that's kind of weird. Like Sonny could have gone to the funeral if there was one, or like followed the station wagon as it came and picked her up.
But on the other
however that
hand, the
works.
grandma also could have gone to all the baseball games. The grandma also could have gone to the open houses and the school plays and the this and the that. And if the grandma doesn't do that, if she's too busy scatting out with her 20 years younger boyfriend, then then
that young 50-year-old guy.
If you don't take time for your grandchildren, then they don't know. Like everybody pictures like a grandma that's on TV. That's not the case for a lot of kids. My kids don't have that.
Yeah, there
Like,
are
a lot of kids don't
grandparents out
have
there.
great grandparents. Like some grandparents are fucking horrible.
Yeah, I mean, from a little bit of experience, but there are grandparents out there that they don't see their relationship with their grandkids as a
blessing, pleasure,
as a derivative or result, connection, whatever, of the relationship they have with their own kids. So they expect, like, even if they had a really bad relationship with their kids, they expect like their kids to bring their grandkids to present them to them every holiday, like everything's cool. That's like, so and there's a lot of people that are like, no, thanks.
Yeah, that is a very weird phenomenon. That is, you're
but yeah, they're right.
Correct.
There's a lot of grandparents that like expect that kind of. They're just like, what do you mean? What?
Yeah,
like,
I don't get adoration. I'm a grandma.
Yeah, it's
like, what?
Yeah, so there's a lot of that. But I guess in fairness to her, she wasn't like that. She wasn't calling at him like, why don't your damn kids ever text me? Yeah. She was kind of didn't put a lot into that, and sounds like she didn't really expect a lot back out. So there's kind of
them not having like a big production about her death. I mean,
yeah, there's kind of a nobility to being a sociopath, but
yeah,
like not putting anything in the world, but then not expecting it back.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
It is. Aw.
It's really the people that are confusing are the ones that put nothing into a relationship but expect something back. I'm more confused by those people than the people that are kind of checked out but don't expect you to, like,
Yeah.
Maybe she was fine with her grandkids never really calling or caring or whatever.
Some people are, yeah. Some people are.
Anyway, you guys have thoughts about it, right? I mean, I don't know.
Well, she was always having extra critical days, so it wouldn't have been
I mean, the
conducive
bald
to-
and Gina, like, I don't want to get into
Oh,
like the whole. No, I know what you mean though. That's what I meant, like the bald and Gina and the changes, or you guys.
I'm gonna miss the drops for sure, and then there are just some moments where Gina would say the most wildest shit out of that would make for great out of context drops, but I don't
I
know.
heard Nancy Grace
I
on
watch.
Fox this morning, and I thought my first
Oh.
thought was, oh my God, I'll
Wah.
never hear Gina Grad say what Nancy Grace just said, because it was what she said was shocking. So yeah. Oh, Nancy Grad, is that what he called her?
Yeah.
She was talking about the Idaho guy. Is that where it's at? Ohio? Where's the murderer guy? With the
What? There's a current dude on the loose. Is that what you're saying? Because
No,
I don't keep up with what's happening with.
there is like a slasher. Your mom
That's-
isn't gonna tell me. Damn it, Christopher.
Christopher
No,
had to take a.
both the stoners are left. Okay, Manny, listen up.
No, what's up?
There was a guy that killed 4 college students in a dorm. You've heard about that?
When was this?
Oh my God.
Oh,
right.
serious? When was this?
Let's talk about Gina Grad some more.
All right.
What are you gonna miss? Eat your feelings. Oh, Vinny
No,
was
not
on
re-
today and you didn't say anything.
I didn't want to eat your feelings. It's like if I can't eat the food, what the fuck? This is no. And then I'm honestly not gonna take time out of my day to make that food. I'm just gonna rely on the same thing I always do: steak, eggs, avocado,
Yes.
or steak, eggs,
Same.
bacon, avocado, whatever.
Ah.
I don't want
Steak
something
every day, huh?
I'd like to. I try to. I've been getting into. I've been trying to do like smash style burgers. Trying to, but it's not coming out how I'd like. So,
Why? How's it not coming out?
Not thin enough. There you go.
Not thin enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
When you make your burger, you only flip it once, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure, because some people make that mistake.
What, they flip more than once?
Yeah, they flip more than once. Can you believe that?
Uh,
Can you believe that rookie bullshit?
Wait, is
Yeah.
that a party you've been invited to? That
I
you
have
witnessed
seen
that?
some multiple flippers where they're just like flip, flip, flip because it's the burger. No,
No, but is this a
No.
party at your house or at
no, not at
house
my
you've been?
house.
Okay.
At my house, everyone knows they only flip once. There's one flipping. That's it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mama's not washing no pans or grills.
I also, back to Bald, I'd like to, when he did his Bollywood, was legitimately interested on his takes on movies, because just to see where he's at as a movie
It sounds like that's going to be still part of the show,
I know.
right?
Yeah,
Which I'm excited about because same.
that's right. I forgot about that.
I always
But,
kind of used his as a gauge.
and mostly just like for entertainment's sake, not like it was something that I would use as a gauge to go and watch, because
Oh.
I just like going to watch movies in general. There's a cheap one near me, so I was like, fuck it. I'm not blowing that much money, and anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I should say that, like I said earlier, I never tuned in for Bald or Gina, like what they thought
Yeah.
about something. But no, I did, like, if they would mention like the day before, like Bald's going to do a Baldywood on The Revenant or something.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Even though, like, I'm going to, like, I was I'd be really curious, like what he thought about The Revenant. Yeah. But
I remember
again,
his thoughts
in
on
the
movies. Those are things.
context,
Yeah.
sorry, in the context of like Bald Brian telling Adam Carolla what he thought of the movie, you know, with Gina there too, asking questions and like the bouncing back against each other. Like that's, I was really interested in that. So yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
No, it's just like a passing era, but I think it's going to be okay because I think there will be other people, which if you look at the Adam Carolla group, and there's a lot of people in there, and the reasons why they don't like Gina Grad or they don't like Bald Brian, not just Jaden, but like the collective group that has a problem with Gina Grad or Bald Brian or like the Paul Brian. Like their feelings are maybe valid, and it might just be like they're worn out on those people. So having Adam, which is the reason why we tune in, bouncing those same ideas off of new, fresh voices every week, I think it might be fun. I think it's also going to make Adam grow. Like he's going to have to figure out how to get his legs. It's not going to be as comfortable. He's going to have to always be on his toes. So I think it'll make him better, like you said, when he's around people that are better, it elevates him.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I thought about it.
I think I agree, but at the same time, I think for him, it's like, I guess he's trying to get better, but also at the same, like, again, there's like winding it down a little bit. Hey, dude's almost 60 years old. Like,
yeah, 60's a new 40. It's okay.
Well, when you're rich, you're just like, I'd like to go to the beach more often. I would like to fly less flights. Like that shit's annoying. And you're trying to get to a place where it's like, maybe you make less, but you're also doing less and like relaxing more. And
he's got a new girlfriend though. So, I mean, he's got to be trying new things like the snowboarding and paddleboarding and horseback riding and Napa trains. And, you know,
a lot of people love Adam and like, are definitely in for to just watch, to see if there's any changes or small or big or whatever, and just to kind of see him explore.
I like that he said about the format change, because he is about format change. He's always like, I listened to him on Loveline in the radio, Loveline on the TV, Man Show on the TV, back to radio, then to podcast. Like it has been a bunch of format changes. Mm-hmm. So that's okay. I'm here for it.
Yeah, on that case, like it does seem like he likes long form interviews. Like I think that he talks about not preparing, but like if he's like going to talk to like Marty Croft or whatever he talked to, like,
yeah,
I think that Ace like thinks about that ahead of time. Like he doesn't just show up and be like, who am I talking to today? Like he thinks about that ahead of time. And when you're doing that, you're like, I mean, if like we were having a really big guest, like we're thinking a lot about it ahead of time, like, man, how's this going to go? And you're trying to imagine how it's going to go. It's easier to imagine how it's going to go when it's just you and that guest versus like trying to factor in what's Bald going to say, or do I have to kind of at some point I got to give Bald a chance to ask some questions. At some point I got to work Gina in, or you might prepare and not think about that at all. And then they do, but like chime in, and then it just kind of throws him for a loop because he kind of thought the conversation was going to go more like a take a knee type of thing. So yeah, I think like for like simplifying like show preparation, like planning. I was saying like earlier, like if they were going to do like a live show from somewhere, and they got to like part of the meeting is like how do they patch in Bald and Gina?
Yeah.
And when?
A lot less show prep.
And then he's like, well, man, I could just do that show. We could just not have that part of the meeting.
Yeah.
And maybe it won't be 100% of what it was, but it'll be like it'll be close enough.
I think it will be. I think it'll be better. And I don't mean to say that I have anything against either one of those two. I love them both on the show, but I think that I listen to the show for Adam. And I think that Adam is at his best when he's kind of, not comfortable. So I think it'll be fun.
I might have had
it's not like we have a choice about it. So we have to buckle in.
Yeah, that's true. I might have had it. Yeah, I think I might have had like an idea that like him and Bald were like go way back or something. And like Bald were like kept him tied to his past of when they were just like radio, like kind of small time douchebags trying to like get attention or whatever. That's not that way, but
But
yeah.
I think Adam was always
I
a
don't think it
radio
was like that.
personality,
I don't
and
think it was like
Brian
that.
was not. So I think
Yeah.
that I don't know.
I wonder if Adam sometimes was disappointed because they would get into it and they might disagree with him on something, but like when he would push back, like they didn't seem to be prepared to like defend their position.
Maybe.
And like I said before, that Adam's a real tough person to talk to, and that like he's got a way, like it's tough, but like at the same time, it's like, well, he's also pretty consistent. Like,
Yeah.
it's not surprising to you that he's kind of real aggressive with his opinions. Like, so
I think that
I wonder if he was
in
disappointed
the past
that they
2
didn't.
years, there's been a funk put on Adam by mainstream media that even his own people tried to back away from him. And that's so horrible. I mean, I never did, but I think that a lot of fans did. And if you've always listened to Adam, and the guy that was on today, it's like common sense, just common sense. He was literally only speaking common sense from the beginning, and everybody just kind of turned their back on him because they felt like he was wrong, or he was, I don't know what they thought. I honestly don't know what they thought, but
Well, my take on that is like it's a really weird world of, he said stuff about COVID, lockdowns, whatever, caught a lot of heat, a lot of hate,
yeah.
made him more popular. I mean, we look at it like, wow, that must be like, man, he was really hated. He became more popular. He became more mainstream. Because sometimes you can become so hated that you become like a accepted, hated figure in our society.
True.
But like you're hated, but you're hated for sport, but you're also seen as harmless. Like, my kids aren't going to listen to Adam Carolla, so I'm not too worried, but I'm going to hate on you. But like, you're not really a threat. So like when you're in that position, you can become actually really more popular, or like kind of, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but since he's been more bombastic about, like since the more hate he caught about his COVID comments, and like even celebrities chiming in and going after him, like he has had more and more and more and more television appearances, period.
Yeah.
Like that's only made him more popular. So we live in a weird world where like, I don't know about, I like Adam being more popular, but I'm not sure I love this weird world where like someone could just become a hated internet villain, but it like, well, it just, propels them into the spotlight and like makes them a business of themselves,
I don't know if do you think that happened for him?
He didn't need it. He didn't need it because he was already big, but it made him like, he's on TV more than he was 3 years ago.
Yeah, he's definitely on Fox News more, and like more, gut filled, and not just. I can't
say that there's a cause and effect. Although I kind of am saying that. I'm saying that he's more hated. He caught more heat, and he's on TV more.
Well, I'm just glad that when he was the avocado on that singing show, that the Asian dude did not get up and leave the studio like he did when Giuliani was unmasked.
Yeah, you wonder like Adam Carolla, like, because like we think Adam Carolla is huge, but like to the mainstream media, like
they don't know him.
He goes in and out of periods where like he's anonymous basically, but like being hated, you're not anonymous.
Yeah, that's true.
Being hated, making like really, strong statements about COVID, catching a lot of heat from celebrities, whatever. Well, guess like more like it's weird because more celebrities have been on his show the last few years, haven't they? He's on more shows. He's on more other shows. Like that's kind of how it works. And
I love that he's had more comedians on. And I think that's because comedians felt like they were kind of pushed the most like out of clubs during COVID and stuff. So they've all kind of had to rally together in backyards and alleys and drive-in movie theaters. And so even ones that are like left or right, like they are all kind of willing to band together because they're the last stage of people that are still allowed to say things. Like I really
guess
feel like comedians have that last line of, we're gonna say it. We're just
I
gonna
have
fucking
different.
say it.
I don't. I have a weird. I have a weird feel. I don't have an uncomfortable feeling about Adam's take on this, and when he has those guests, that comedians that come on and like just throw pity parties for themselves about how it's like it's a weird place for a comedian to be, like because there's always the whole thing where like maybe they're not laughing because you're not funny. Like maybe you're just like they didn't want to hear those jokes that night, and like no, it's because of this, because the woke, it's the woke people or whatever. It's like, well, maybe 25-year-olds don't really think you're that funny as like 25-year-olds did in the 90s. Like, so there's always that weird thing where Adam has a guest on and they talk about how hard it, like they're both thriving, right? They're both
Right.
thriving on a huge national podcast,
Right.
with mega corporations sponsoring, but they're like having a pity party about how hard it is and like the woke or like whatever. And it's like, but then they talk about how they did 8 shows last. It's a weird, I never liked that topic for when Adam would come on, because it was like he usually is pretty harsh on people that are throwing pity parties for themselves.
Yeah. I'm
So,
not a fan of pity parties myself either. So
yeah, and it's like, well, that's kind of like if comedians are always safe, which is kind of where they're going with that whole thing. Like you want the comedy world to always be a safe place to like experiment. It's like, well, then there is no bravery. Then if you want that, then you can't be like George Carlin was brave.
all right, hold on. I have an idea to make comedy dangerous again.
Will Smith,
No.
like you got to tell like Propecia jokes all the time.
No. That's passe now. Or you gotta do your routine in a snake pit and survive.
Snakes or spiders, yeah.
No, just pure snakes.
Well, it's like, what was it? Indiana Jones was afraid of snakes, right? Yeah. Spiders, no problem. Snakes were the problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, stand-up clubs are gonna get weird from here on out.
Yeah.
2-drink minimum and bring a bag of mice or pinkies, whatever you want to call them.
I don't know. Let's see. We mentioned like the radio show format. Like, yeah, like everybody's like, I love the radio show format. It's like, well, I remember growing up and there'd be a radio show that played classic rock, and then you'd wake up the next morning and they'd be playing country music. So
what
like,
happened?
yeah, the radio show days that you're so nostalgic about were pretty harsh.
That was actually one thing about Adam on KLSX in the mornings. I'd be getting off work from a graveyard shift at the gas station, so I was still a bit, wired from the night before. So I'd kind of just unwind listening to them, and I liked it because instead of doing like, no offense to Kevin and Bean because they're SoCal staple, but like I quickly found out like what their format was for their morning show. I was just like, Adams was different, so I was just like, all right, I'm going with this instead, because it was just like a longer format, even though it was still radio.
Yeah.
There wasn't like breaks for what was it, songs and other filler that I felt was happening a bit with Kevin and Fijón.
I mean, morning radio, like that's terrible to me. Like if you try to listen to radio now, it's like talk radio. It's like 15 minutes of like just echo chamber, that's maybe harsh. And then like 15 minutes of news and weather and like commercials for catheters and, like the next, like, rich dad, poor dad conference that's coming to a town near you at the Marriott, like sign up now for early bird, like ticket prices, stuff like that. Like, man, seems like an incredible waste of time.
Yeah.
Even
when they have that comedian on that does the morning show, like the weather and traffic, like the helicopter stuff, it's just,
it was never
I'm
that
good.
funny.
Like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. So I never saw it as that. I just saw it as Adam's new place. And so now that he's going to another new place, I'll sit my little brown ass in and see what's up. I guess
Yeah, I think that
I'm ready.
I bet you that Adam's getting a lot of new listeners. I don't know what the numbers would be, but I would think he'd just be getting a lot of new listeners, followers because of his like Fox News hits or whatever other podcast hits that are like they are literally only coming to Adam for him.
I see that in the Adam Carolla group, that as an admin, I see that the people that are coming in are from Fox News. A lot of them.
It makes sense. It makes sense. The person that listened to Adam Carolla when he and like Love Line, and then like they're already in this group.
Yeah.
Like, so all of his fans now are new fans. I'm sure there's people in the industry that study that kind of thing. And they're like, well, this is, you know, when you start getting a lot of new fans that only care about you and don't care about your morning crew.
Yeah.
Like that's different. It's different.
Do you think that that's what goes into it though? Like we all have been around Carolla events and things like that. Do you think that there's a lot of back end stuff that goes into stuff? Or do you think that it is all kind of, it seems like a lot of it is like we're all doing this as a team, not a lot of outside voices coming in to tell them to do stuff. I don't know about Mike August. I don't know what Mike August brings to the table
I think that like, but let's say you're running a small family business and things are going great.
Yeah.
You don't even think about that kind of stuff, future planning, whatever. It's really when you start thinking about, okay, how do we wind this down? How do we plan for retirement or like some kind of transition? That's when
the changes come.
That's when people come in. And when you say to them, well, everything is just going great, so we don't have to really worry about all that. Like, they're like, what? No, you're about to go into a transition period. You're about to, maybe you want to put up your company for sale or something like that. No. Like, all that is out the door. And now it comes down to like crunching numbers and it's very, it's just very, it's very abrupt.
I think that the next step is going to be he's just gone forever. So I guess we should just be grateful for every day that we have, whether there's news girl or whatever it is. Like, I think we should just be grateful because it kind of does feel like it's all winding down. Right?
That's kind of what I said. Like, like he's been very generous, like a lot of fans, like not other than getting Geico or going to O'Reilly Auto Parts to buy your brake pads. Like you're not paying for any of it. So he's been very generous, and it's like when you have that, it's very easy for people to take it for granted, right? Because you're not.
They do.
Like, there's no transaction. I tell them all the
time it's a free podcast. It's a free podcast, and they're still
you take it for granted, and then it's like then you start having these thoughts like, well, he should have done it a different way. Like, okay,
yeah,
it's kind of absurd.
Exactly.
Like Coca-Cola should have never changed from a 16-ounce bottle to a 20-ounce. Like, okay. Yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate the thoughts.
That's interesting.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm glad you said that, because it's like I think for my last thought was like, so the last couple years, really since COVID, I've been more of a selective listener. Just gotten thrown off like my patterns and like when I listen to podcasts. And so I gotta say, like, if this happened like a few years ago, I would have been rip shit pissed. I'd have been more I'd have been more like,
wow.
Or it would have affected me more.
Not rip shit.
It would have been affected me more, I guess. So as a selective listener, that's kind of already like kind of like Adam's got to plan his like exit strategy, and like I'm sure there's a lot of people my age that have been listening to Adam a long time that are like, I really can't expect this guy to like be doing a podcast that when he's 80, and God, I don't want to be listening to Adam talk about his Gavin Newsom interview when he's 80 either. I'm honest. Like if I'm 80 in a nursing home and I'm listening to Adam like fucking talk about how he whooped Gavin Newsom's ass, like
I'm the nursing
should be out playing shuffleboard or something.
You're right.
It's a natural thing for everybody. Like everybody's
It's not
had it.
natural. He's the first of the podcast. Like it's not natural. We're all gonna have to figure out what happens when you're podcast. We know
Okay,
what
but I'm talking
happens
about
when
podcast,
MASH
but there's
ends.
things
We know
like
what happens when
everybody
our favorite TV shows end.
like
But
what did you
does
do
happen
when
our favorite podcast ends?
like what did you I mean what did you do when Oprah stopped having a daily show?
You know what?
How'd you cope?
I saved the last 10
Oh, yeah.
episodes for sad days.
You
And
started listening to
then-
her vintage.
No. I saved the last 10 episodes for sad days. And then something happened with my cable where I lost my DVR. So they were gone. I've never seen it. I never saw her last episode. I watched every episode from like a small child until she left in my 30s. And then I never saw the last 10 episodes. I
Can you
saved
find
them
them
for
on
sad
YouTube?
days.
Okay.
And then,
So when Adam announces he's done,
yeah.
the pirate ship is over, you'll never listen. Like you got a system in place to deal with the pain.
Yeah, I'm good. I need like a couple hours of just a little bit of whatever, and then it's gone. I'll just put it in a box and then it's gone. I won't think about it again.
I'll miss it though. Like there's something about like Adam and Bald and Gina heard all his shit before.
Yeah.
And he still made them laugh.
He's so funny. That's why. I'll be laughing at your stuff when I'm 80, Christopher. We still be doing it.
I doubt it. You're not gonna live that long. Kidding me.
I'm
Those
the
crystals.
healthiest of the three of us.
Those crystals aren't gonna work.
Because I don't wear a bra. I don't have any crystals to stuff in my bra.
That's true. That'll probably adds 10 years to their life, but Big Bra does not want you to know that.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Okay, my real last thought is they did trending. Like someone commented about this today, but like, yeah, they started doing trending topics with Max Zapata
Yeah.
I love it.
a long time ago, and it replaced the news.
Locks up on us. And you know what?
It replaced the news.
Gina was lazy with the news. I'm going to say that I love her recipes, but she was lazy with the news. There's so much stuff going on. She was, and I could never figure out, was that like Adam making her be lazy with the news? But there's just too much going on to be reporting about the random stuff, hot dog eating competitions and such. When
just thinking, there's a lot of companies out there. There are a lot of companies out there that have years of success selling 20 products. Right.
In-N-Out Burger.
And they go out of business trying to sell those 20 products.
Oh.
But then there's companies that, decades in, they realize, hey man, like out of these 20 products, like there's 4 of them that really, like kind of make us all the money. Yeah. And I know the other 16 products keep people employed and stuff, but like they don't really make us any money. And then it's just like, they're like, we should focus on selling these 4 products. And that's right. That's okay. So Adam's kind of in that. He's like, I need to like simplify, like not diverse, simplify, cut overhead, cut meetings,
people
cut
only
like
have one person to thank. Who is it?
Get rid of all the moving part. Ira?
Obama.
Oh yeah, fucking Obama. Like that's just the way the world works. Like,
oh, thanks, Obama.
Yep. I blame the whole NFL playoff thing on Obama last night. Just last night I did, and it worked.
Don't get the man started again.
And it worked.
We'll say that for the next episode.
I blamed Obama for the NFL playoff catastrophe that's going on now, and the person I said it to was like, right, exactly. He knew exactly what I meant.
That's how you're hanging with the right people. When they get it. Thanks, Obama. Like they understand it. They're like, yeah, trickle down economics, bitch.
But I don't know. Yeah, we'll try. Like we'll do some reach out. We'll see. Like, I don't know. It's like things change and You don't always see it coming, but it's good.
Yeah. Changes. Oh, is that
There's a-
your way of telling me this is my last week? Changes
No,
coming?
no. Yeah,
We'll give you a
really.
heads up, but there's no severance package.
Yeah. Okay. Just let me know. Just let me know. I just gotta let Maria Lish know that I'm out. And I'm gonna make it seem like it was my decision because
You got
she
it.
appreciates me the most out of all the people.
No, but I will say I appreciate you guys and Robbie too, even though he never shows up anymore. I don't know what his problem is.
Hey,
We
I'm
we
carrying the
miss
dad
you.
jokes.
There's always some
They're
kind
on
of
my shoulder.
excuse.
My shoulder hurts from all the dad jokes that I'm carrying right here.
Yeah. He's like, I got to work, man. I got to work because I got to pay for my kids and kids insurance and baby food. I was like, all right, man. It's like, come on,
Diapers, so expensive.
give it a rest. No, Robbie's got a job to do and he's got in-laws in town.
In flooding. No one cares about the California floods, but we
Oh
are
yeah, and then
flooding
he's
away out
got
here.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that was going on. Like San Francisco's flooding. Like
Yeah,
what
it's bad.
man, we got a major quality control problem here.
Our 99 freeway is closed. Like it's water. It's just water. You got to take the 5 out of Sacramento.
Did I tell you like
Wow.
what was the latest thing was like over the holiday break we had kids taking turns getting sick, of course, you know.
Fun.
One would get a cough, one would cough would go away, the other would start coughing. But like went to CVS and they were out of children's pain relievers.
I
Like,
heard
you
they're
see-
out of amoxicillin too, like for
Yeah,
strep.
what?
They're out of that too.
Who? I mean, come on, people. Like, what's going on? Look, what's
Maybe
going
it's
on?
that shipping
Like,
container crisis.
I go
Booted
inside.
bridge.
You go into CVS and it's like the entire store is like jam packed with products. But then you go to the children's pain reliever, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, children's Tylenol, and it's just completely empty. Like, what? Come on.
I don't care about the kids. I'm telling you
They
right now.
don't.
I've been screaming it for years. We do not care about the children. They lied when they who was it? Michael Jackson, the children of the future, Whitney
Yeah.
Houston. It's a lie. That is a lie. They don't care about the kids.
I think old Whitey, who's in charge of everything, or whoever, you know, whoever's running it, is also like, what's going on? Like, we make like these medicines are really profitable. Like like children's ibuprofen, it's like $10 a bottle. Like,
Yeah.
I think that the people that are, you know, like running things are also like asking the same questions. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, you know how much money we make when we sell children's cough syrup? It's just like a 90% profit margin. It's the same formula they've been selling for God knows how long, 50 years, you know, and they just can't make it. Like, what?
You know
Well, I don't
what's
know.
funny is that when my kids were little, they had like they don't sell it anymore, which I only know that because my best friend has a child who's a lot younger than my children. And they used to have this like formula of children's Tylenol that was like a nighttime version where you could literally knock your kids out. They don't even make it anymore. So they've
That's
never
'cause-
cared about the
Put some
kids,
on
is
the
my
rack.
point.
That's because savvy parents always keep a little Benadryl on hand in case there's any allergy flare-ups.
Tastes so good.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. You're traveling. You're in a hotel room. Kid won't go to sleep. Allergies. Have an allergy attack. Where's that Benadryl in the funnel? Give me the Benadryl and a beer.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about.
The
it's
beer
a
bottle.
package.
I
Beer
was
back.
confused between.
Benadryl with a beer back.
I was beer funnel. I was like confused between beer pong and beer funnel. Right? Like,
Do
is there a
not give
name for
your
that?
kids a Benadryl butt funnel. That's
I didn't say butt.
illegal.
Oral
Oh.
funnel. No, another thing about these drugs is like, you remember growing up thinking you could never take Tylenol and ibuprofen ever at the same time?
What at once?
Yes.
Yes, you know that, right? Like you
Yes. They
you
made
give
it
your
sound
kids
like yes.
right, like they're gonna yeah. And now they sell
One or
an
the other.
Advil. They sell a tablet that's half Advil, half Tylenol, acetaminophen.
Shut the front door. They
I'm not
do?
joking at all. Nope. I'm not
Wow.
kidding. They absolutely do.
They absolutely made that seem like those two would just mix in your stomach. You'd be dead. Dead
So
on
when you're old
arrival.
enough, to like, it's not trust the science. When you're old enough to like remember, like cigarettes used to be like healthy.
My doctor smoked cigarettes. He would come into the office and butt out and then treat
It's
my
like
bronchitis as a child.
I try to tell my kid this, and he's like, he thinks I'm crazy and I'm making stuff up. I'm like, no. Like doctors used to
No.
tell people, like, oh, you're pregnant, you should start smoking unfiltered cigarettes. Like don't smoke that brand. The Lucky Strikes are really good for you.
Yes,
Like the other brand is bad for you.
that
Like
is
that's what the
absolutely
science was.
true.
That's what the science was telling you.
Yes. It was.
Science is
Another-
expensive. Mhm.
It's so expensive. The food pyramid. We're gonna have to talk about that next week, but I have
Yeah.
thoughts about the
I-
new food pyramid.
I get the
I
whole
have
like
thoughts.
I get that though, but I don't understand the whole like you can't take Tylenol and Advil in the same day. And now you can. Like I get the
You're really rattled by
conspiracy.
this.
I really get the whole like, hey, we want to keep it quiet that cigarettes are bad because they make a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Mhm.
But like the whole, yeah, I don't know. Was it like Coke and Pepsi? Like Tylenol and Advil were Coke and Pepsi. They were like at war, but now like it's like
They're all owned by the same company.
Coke and Pepsi are both owned by Pfizer.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, really?
That
And now
part.
it's like, well, let's make a half Coke, half Pepsi bottle. Like, all right, you just heard it here
Manny.
first. I'm predicting
Manny.
predicting
Everything is owned by 7 companies. They're all at the
That's
top
crazy.
like this. Everything, yes.
That's the real pyramid
really
right
weird.
there.
And
I
we've
need
we've
this-
created this, we've created a weird business model where the companies that aren't, they want to be.
Yeah.
Like
they'll just sell.
their whole game
Greenwashing.
plan. Yeah. Their whole plan is to like get
Pretend
subscribers.
like they're organic
and
and
then
then
sell
move
to
to
Pfizer.
Coca-Cola. Yeah.
No,
Mother-
they'll be organic, but they know
Until
very
they get
well.
sold to Pfizer and
Well,
then they're
at that
not.
point,
They
it's not
change the
them.
formula.
At that point, it's not them though. Like they can kind of stay true to their product, knowing full well that
The
I'll just
product
sign-
They're gonna
formerly
sell
known
out.
as
when I
Athena.
sign this paper, it's not my product anymore. I'm a billionaire and
Disgusting.
I'm clean because I made an organic product. They chose not to make it,
Disgusting.
That is what it is. I don't really, I'm more confused by law. Now there's a pill that's half Advil, half Tylenol. You heard it here first. There's going to be a 2
I'm
liter
gonna
of
look into
soda.
it.
You're going to go to the grocery store in 2030 and there's going to be a 2 liter soda that's not like
Half
1/4
Pepsi.
sugar or like it's going to be half Coke, half Pepsi.
I mean, you could do that now. Just go get yourself an empty jug and then get yourself
It's gonna be a
liter of
cola
each.
suicide.
Pfizer is
Yeah.
going to sell half Coke, half Pepsi,
Just mix it yourself.
Snickers bar.
Just oh god, that sounds awful.
Ugh.
No, thank
It
you.
will. Oh yeah, because it's like when they have like Doritos flavored cereal now or whatever. Like
Wait, what?
That's healthier. They said
talking-
frosted flakes are healthier than an egg cooked in butter.
yeah,
Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, the brand name Kellogg's Frosted Flakes on the
That's
food pyramid is healthier
crazy.
I'm
than an
curious
egg
if like
cooked in butter.
if humanity is just going to like go along with this, or if humanity's just going to burn this down. Like this is getting out of hand.
No, they're gonna go take their fat ass to the store and buy Kellogg's cornflakes.
Yeah, we're going to be Wally.
and feel justified, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're gonna have a heart attack because you're eating eggs for breakfast." That's what's gonna happen. Ridiculous.
You'll still have a heart attack, but they'll have a pill that's $8,000 that'll cure it. You'll live
Oh my gosh, that
because you thought
that
about
neuroplant thing that Elon was talking about on Joe Rogan sounds amazing.
We won't,
guess.
it won't be for our generation. It'll be long after we're gone.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay. He makes it
Yeah.
sound like things are good though. Like if you were disabled and you couldn't move your arms or legs or whatever, that your brain could make it move. I feel like that would be for so many people. And I'm not into that stuff. I don't want a bunch of robots running around with chips in their brains, but I feel like if your dad went away and his brain was fucked up and you could put a neuroplan in that and have your dad back, it would be like Pet Cemetery.
How did that movie go? How'd that turn out? Yeah,
Not well.
progress.
Happily ever after.
Progress is a comfortable disease. I mean, that's the pitch, right? Like, that's the pitch. Like, they pluck your heartstrings. Like, wouldn't you like to have one more conversation with your dad? In your case, you to tell him to go to hell or whatever.
No, I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah,
Not today, Satan.
do I get to punch him? Like, will he feel the pain? Yeah,
He's still alive, and I'm not calling him, as a matter of fact.
and you got like 9 out of 10 people are like, okay, and it's like, and it's used for good. Like, like there's that old saying, like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I mean, it's an old saying, but it's so true. Like, we make all these things. I think people like these guys, they go into the lab, and the scientists, they go into, they really think they're going to do good. But then, and they do, I guess, but then they're also participating in a system that like really does a lot of bad. Like, you can cure a disease for a company, and you're going to cure that disease in one country, but you also work for a company that's going to make sure that that drug doesn't make it to another country.
Thanks so
The horror.
Because it's like it's not profitable or whatever. It's like, I understand it, but it's like,
How dare you?
Weird. It's a weird world, because like you could have the best intentions, but yeah, I don't know. It's the human condition. We're all trying to get through it,
It's got range.
but with only Adam now.
I look forward to the new format change, though.
Yeah.
Welcome it with open arms. See what comes of it.
It's because we're real fans. We're not the ones that are saying, "Oh, I'm done, unsubscribed." Like, bitch, go. Bye.
I'm kind of moving into like where I'm not a regular everyday listener, but like my positive, like my feelings or whatever towards Adam Carolla and the show, I was like really still very it's really important.
Well, maybe you weren't an everyday listener because Bald and the format was stale. So you should become a new everyday listener.
A born again.
Well, I
listener.
also think it's very normal for anyone to like just want to branch out a little bit, because like I feel like I know Adam Carolla pretty well, and like I feel like for a long time, like kind of get his general take on things. Like when a current event happens now, maybe I don't tune in right away, because I'm like, I kind of have a good idea of what his take's gonna be. Not because he's repetitive, because I've been listening to him for a long time and he's consistent.
He's like a brother.
So it's kind of like, it's not as, maybe I will tune in more if he's like with more stand-ups and bigger names. Like, I don't know.
Those Larry David stories were funny today. I enjoyed
people like, remember like just a few years ago before COVID, because I think with COVID, he started getting bigger guests because they had nothing better to do. But like before that, there was a lot of complaints about the same guests, same story, same this, same that. A lot of complaints about the repetitiveness of his show. And it's like, well, careful what you wish for. Because there's, because for Adam to like talk to like one-on-one with stand-up comedians, like big name, like maybe they don't want to come around, but it's like, hey, come to my show with Bald Brian and Gina, like my news girl. And it's like, maybe certain actors, celebrities, agents, like weren't quite sure what to do with that.
Yeah.
Well, they always treated him nice. And I think that Bald and Gina have both been thankful for that, the grace that everyone gave.
I can't really think of a situation where where Adam had a big guest on and they were like kind of, like impose themselves on the interview or anything like that in a bad way.
Donald Trump Jr. Is that his name?
Yeah, she tried. I mean, she tried.
Horrible. That was so embarrassing. I felt embarrassed for everybody in that room. Like, You know, you can
Yeah,
have
but
a differing
then
opinion, but you can also know when to shut the fuck up.
if you go by the minutes, like she tried, it didn't really work for her, did it? Like,
Yeah.
people were really angry that she tried to kind of go that angle, but it didn't really
Yeah.
have legs or last long, or kind of worked out bad for her
It did.
than
It
him.
did. Yeah.
I don't know.
Aw, they will be missed.
They're very alive. As I said, I'd like to hack all the people that are complaining to see if they're actually, I'd like to hack just not their social security number, of course, but like
Of
their
course.
just their podcast subscriptions
Just
Yeah. See if
to
they're
see
Film Vault or
to
Easy
see if they were
Listening.
subscribed to Film Vault prior to last week.
Yes.
Guessing many were not. And also because you can look at your podcast, see what you listen to. Like maybe you were subscribed to the Film Vault, but you got like an
You
entire
never listened.
yeah, you got like a lot of unlistened, like yeah. You got a lot of episodes with the dot on it. That you haven't
Yeah.
listened to.
I never downloaded. I never subscribed to the Film Vote. I did to Easy Listening, and I listened for a while, but just wasn't my flavor. And the inconsistency, I think. I think I like a weekly thing is easier for me to jump on if it's consistent.
That's too. I mean, maybe that's part of the reaction to any changes Adam makes, because his listeners are like daily routine
It's
listeners
consistent.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mhm.
So like any changes are going to be bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Adam. He's a pro. I like that he's
Yes.
successful. I'm
Me
sure he's
too.
going to be more successful, willing to like, you know, until he kicks my dog, you know, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Of course.
So yeah. But I don't know. I wish Anna, Bald and Gina the best. Like
oh
I don't
my
really like
gosh.
really have any negative feelings to them at all. Like I
No.
think Gina was a big part of the success of like the latter success. Like, you know, I think Adam's always been like a known name, but I think that her support and positivity, energy, you know, like positive energy towards the show, her willingness to engage with fans was a big part of his like kind of getting to a next level.
Mm-hmm.
Like podcast one and all that kind of stuff, because he had a news girl that was like doing what he wanted her to do, which was engage and like be positive and like care about what he was doing.
Yeah. Yes. Mhm.
So yeah, I really think like her more than Bald maybe is like a bigger part of that, like his going from like most popular podcast statistically or most down whatever to like a mainstream like really big show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she was a big part of that. Hopefully they were both paid well. That's another thing. We have no idea.
I think someone said like
It's all
$500
just
an
been wild
episode, right?
speculation.
No idea.
Okay.
We have no
Okay.
idea. I mean, and as far as I know, like both of them were just packing that money away, like every penny they made off Adam Carolla, because it was like, you know, they were looking at it like the same as we were looking at, like that's 2 hour a day money. And they were just packing
Well,
it
she
away.
said she's going to be hawking a book, so I guess she wrote a book too. So
Good.
I guess we can support her that way.
Mhm.
We can buy.
Yeah,
her
like a
book.
lot of the negativity is like acting like they're dead. Like, no, like it's real kind of weird. Like
It is.
they're still
Yeah.
allowed to like, you know, get involved in the world and like go out and make a living doing other stuff. Like they're
Yeah.
maybe that's the whole lack of a farewell tour, is that like when something bad happens to you, you're okay with it, but you're not okay with the world thinking you're not okay with it.
Well, thank God for
That makes
social
sense?
media, because they
Does that
just
make
say
sense?
whatever
Yeah.
they want. Because she's been more vocal, I think, than him, right? I don't follow him.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
I've
so.
seen-
I'm not on
I've seen her
Twitter.
a couple
I'm not
times on
active there.
Instagram saying that she's going to be on the Film Vault this coming week, and that don't worry about me because I'm getting a book, and thanks for all the love and support and all the messages. So
That's another kind of crappy thing about celebrity, is like you can't not say that.
That's what you're saying, but she is saying that. That's
I
what
know.
she's saying.
I'm not even saying she's not sincere about it, but I'm like, you're like, well, she can't
You
be
kind
like,
of have
man,
to say that.
yeah.
Fuck
So
Adam.
she can't be like, man, that. I tell you what, I love the guy, but that motherfucker right now, I'd run him over the car. Like, you can't say that.
You're right.
You got to say like, great, like and again, I've been listening for a long time, so I believe they're sincere, but like,
Yeah.
you can't not say that.
No, that's true. You're right. You're right.
And like, if someone's
Well,
like,
I guess
what's your relationship with
maybe in
Jimmy
her
Kimmel?
book.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Like, how would you feel about James Corden if he cried over Cecil the Lion? Would you give him space? Or would you make fun of him?
Oh my gosh. You know what? We should reach out to Giovanni and ask him if there's an episode around the Cecil. What were Adam's thoughts about that? Did he have big thoughts? Or was he shut the fuck up
I
about
think
it?
it was in like the let's just pretend these two worlds don't exist together mode. Like, because he was like, there was a bit where like Cecil's older brother died. Like there was Cecil had a brother. Like I'm not joking. This old lion in Africa had a brother, like named like Kip. And like 6 months later, Kip died, but like natural causes or it got run over. I don't know. He ate too much chocolate. He ate too much chocolate. But there was no one cried about it. I remember that being a story and like Adam was making fun of it.
You're making that up.
Who? Kip the lion? It's a true story. There was Cecil had a sibling. They were estranged. They didn't get along. It's like Prince Harry and William. Making that part up. But no, there was another, like Cecil had a cousin, like a brother that died. And no one cared.
I'm
No
gonna
talk
post
show
that
host.
in the group tomorrow. I'm gonna get on this story. I'm after the fact.
Every now and then I do worry, like maybe I'm just imagining that happened, but I'm pretty sure this happened. No, this happened. Cecil had a brother, cousin, relative. Maybe they were just close.
In your other simulation.
Maybe they're just close. They called each other brother, but there wasn't any, like technically any, familial
DNA.
Whatever. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You guys.
Yes. It's been a good
new
time.
show.
It's been a good
new
night.
year, new show, new ideas.
Yeah, and Happy New Year. We'll get back to normal next week and we'll maybe talk about a few other things, maybe Christmas break, New Year's. I don't even know if anybody cares about that shit anymore.
No, man. It'd be
Time
too late
has
by
passed.
then. Yeah.
I had a great Christmas, but then I spent like a week with my kids at home and like they were like had me on edge. They had me on edge.
Yeah. There is no zen in the Trail household.
I couldn't really like look back and think about all the great Christmas memories until I got back to work this week. So I'm gonna breathe.
It's harder being at home with a bunch of kids.
Nah, I gotta be better at it. I gotta be better at like coping. Yeah.
With your own children?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just like you're just like, I'm on vacation. You wake up, you're like, oh, it's gonna be good. And it's like, well, these three, like two of these three kids couldn't talk a few years ago, but now they got a lot of questions throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so many questions.
Yeah.
So many thoughts.
They got so many questions. They need so many things they need, and like all the things they want to fight about.
Yeah. You know what though?
It whittles you away.
No.
What?
It's so fast because I remember being so annoyed by all of the things. And then they're just gone. And your house is completely quiet. And it's just you and a weird fucking cat that won't stop biting you all the time. That's super long and weird. It's horrible. Don't be like me. Enjoy every second.
Yeah, I went through a lot of that when we were separated. When we were separated and divorced and like having custody and like having them over and like being so frustrated they were gone. It was like a lot of like crazy ups and downs with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you and your wife just need to lock yourselves in your room. and be like, they'll
freak
be
out.
alive when we come out. They're gonna be alive when we come out. And you just have to remember that they love you forever and you can't really make any mistakes, like, because you're their mom and dad. So like, how do
Yeah,
you
yeah. I
fuck
try to
that
remember,
up?
like as annoyed as I am in those moments, like there's really no place I'd rather be, you know,
yeah, I love that.
other than at the lotto office when they're announcing me and they're
Totally.
handing me that giant cardboard check
Yeah. And then at
that,
the airport when you're leaving the
that
country. Yeah.
changes, that just says freedom on it. You know, other than that, there's no place I'd rather be
Amen.
than in my garage, surrounded by my 3 kids.
Before we wrap the show,
Fighting.
because you mentioned the giant lotto check, I know that you can't not claim it or without having to show yourself. So what if you went dressed in a beekeeper outfit and you just kind of went a little extra heavy with the
Mesh.
whatever. Yeah, the mesh. You think that way
When?
you could
At the
protect your
lotto
identity?
office.
Around the house, you mean?
No, at the lotto office, protecting your
Oh, at the lotto
identity.
office? Yeah, that'd be pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be pretty good. Yeah, like anonymous beekeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, if I won the lotto, yeah, it'd be something.
He'd show up as the beekeeper to collect his belongings on his way out of his life.
I would change my name, legally change my name for like 2 days, so they would announce that Texas resident Pink Pussy Hat won the lotto, won the jackpot. I'd hire a team of lawyers to be like, no, I won the lotto. That's my legal name. You will announce on my name on your, yeah. All right.
How did you come up with that in 1 second? Like literally one of those names in 1 second. All right. I'm done with you guys.
Yeah, I'm done
Good
with
night.
you. Yeah, everybody, get it
Good
on.
night.
Thanks for hanging out.
Get it on, everybody.
Have a great weekend. Get it on.
Get it on. TGIF motherfuckers.
Hell yeah.
So aggressive, and even when you're like happy, you're so mad. All right, everybody.
Bye, senor.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for being there, everybody. Really appreciate it.